An impulse purchase often changes a feeling before it solves a need. Imagine buying shoes after a stressful day because the checkout feels like relief. Ask what feeling the purchase is treating. Impulse buying turns emotion into a purchase before the slower part of the mind has time to evaluate the trade-off. The pattern usually appears in small daily choices before it becomes obvious. The pattern usually shows up in small daily choices before it becomes a bigger problem. Cards and one-click checkouts reduce the visible cost of spending. In practice, tapping a phone does not feel like handing over cash. Slow the moment before payment. The issue begins with scarcity cues create urgency. Limited time messages make waiting feel dangerous. Concrete case. A countdown timer turns a normal item into a now or never choice. Separate real scarcity from sales pressure. The pattern usually shows up in small daily choices before it becomes a bigger problem. The main lever is identity sells hard. Products often promise a version of yourself. Real case. A planner feels like becoming organized before any planning happens. Buy the behavior, not the fantasy. This starts with social comparison pushes spending. Seeing others upgrade can make your own life feel behind. Version. A friend posts a vacation and your weekend suddenly feels inadequate. Notice comparison before clicking. The clearest sign is a friend posts a vacation and your weekend suddenly feels inadequate. Small purchases hide totals. Minor spending avoids the seriousness of a big purchase. Version. Daily delivery fees quietly become a large monthly leak. Review totals, not isolated moments. Shopping gives novelty, choice, and anticipation. Common case. Scrolling deals at night turns boredom into a cart. Replace the stimulation with a cheaper ritual. The trouble deepens when the purchase can feel satisfying for minutes while the bill stays for weeks. The most useful pause is asking whether the item solves a real need or only changes the mood for a moment. Tired people want fast comfort and fewer decisions. Notice this. After work, a person buys convenience items they did not plan. Avoid shopping during weak decision windows. The example is a midnight purchase pushed by a timer and saved card, and the response is a waiting rule and removed checkout shortcuts. The impact is concrete because the purchase can feel satisfying for minutes while the bill stays for weeks. Sales anchor value. Discounts make people compare against the old price instead of actual need. Saving 40% on something unused is still spending. The loss grows when the purchase can feel satisfying for minutes while the bill stays for weeks. The example keeps the point grounded. A daily version is saving 40% on something unused is still spending. Real case. The item arrives, stays in the box, and the refund window passes. Treat returns as work, not magic. The starting point to separate is advertising targets triggers. Ads appear near emotions, seasons, and life transitions. Daily version. Fitness ads after New Year sell hope, not just equipment. Name the trigger before judging the item. The point lands better when the situation is concrete. Waiting separates desire from decision. Case. A 24-hour cart rule reveals which purchases still matter tomorrow. Add time between wanting and buying. A midnight purchase pushed by a timer and saved card. What looks like a personal flaw may simply be saved cards interacting with discount timers. What makes the topic useful is the connection between stress relief and the decision that follows. Budget categories create boundaries. A planned fun budget prevents impulse spending from becoming secret spending. Give desire a safe container. This scene should leave one concrete lesson. A waiting rule and removed checkout shortcuts. The cost becomes visible when entertainment money can be enjoyed without guilt when capped. The small detail to notice is discount timers, especially when cart abandonment is happening at the same time. A practical check is cart abandonment, then discount timers. Together they show whether the response matches the real cause. Unsubscribe and remove cues. Reducing prompts lowers temptation. Version. Fewer sale emails means fewer invented needs. Control the shopping environment. The pressure comes from emotion, scarcity cues, payment friction, and regret. Missing that link makes the outcome look random. When stress relief changes, people often adjust around it before they fully understand why they feel pressure. Cash flow reality helps. Checking bills before buying reconnects the purchase to life priorities. The gadget competes with rent, savings, or debt payoff. Focus on the practical signs. Pause when stress, boredom, discounts, or social comparison are doing most of the selling. An early response works better when it is aimed at cart abandonment rather than a vague feeling that something is wrong. Self-respect beats punishment is often the first practical obstacle. Harsh shame often triggers more comfort buying. Example. One regretted purchase can become a spiral if treated as failure. Repair the habit calmly. The pattern usually shows up in small daily choices before it becomes a bigger problem. Impulse spending becomes less mysterious when the purchase is linked to the feeling that came just before it. Stress, boredom, envy, celebration, or exhaustion. One concrete marker is social comparison. It shows whether the issue is already shaping behavior rather than staying theoretical. Asking where this purchase will be in 30 days can cut through the excitement. A discount timer may make the item feel urgent tonight, but the same item may sit unopened next month. That question shifts attention from the buying moment to the ownership reality. It also exposes emotional triggers: stress, boredom, comparison, convenience, or the feeling that a deal will disappear. If the desire weakens after a short pause, the purchase was probably serving the emotion more than the need. Impulse buying is rarely about the object alone. It is often about mood, ease, urgency, social comparison, or the quick relief of getting something now. The best defense is friction. Pause the purchase, remove saved payment shortcuts, and ask whether the item will still matter tomorrow. Impulse buying is strongest when a product offers a quick emotional reward: relief, status, control, comfort, or the feeling of starting fresh. A discount timer, saved card, and tired mood can turn a small urge into an order before the buyer has compared it with the budget. The clearest clue may be saved cards, not the dramatic result that appears later. Impulse buying is rarely only about the item. It is usually about relief, identity, boredom, stress, or the small thrill of choosing quickly. A familiar case is a midnight purchase pushed by a timer and saved card. Impulse buying loses power when the emotional trigger is named before the payment happens. A cart can wait longer than an emotion. That pause often reveals whether the item still matters after the feeling fades. The most useful evidence is often ordinary: discount timers, cart abandonment, and whether the same signal appears again. The protection is to slow the purchase long enough for the emotional wave to pass. Remove saved cards. Wait a day, compare with the budget, and ask what feeling the purchase is trying to solve. A pause, a budget check, and a waiting period can turn a fast urge back into a real choice. Waiting 24 hours often reveals whether the item was needed or whether the purchase was trying to change a feeling.